Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
All right, this is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we break down one of their records. We get into the lyrics, music, how it was made, some of the extracurriculars, and everything in between. My name is Tyler. Way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars and 5 stars only. All the social media is at Asinine Radio, TikTok, Instagram, fucking Twitter, everything. Asinine Radio. So, let's get right into the episode. What are we doing today, Jeff?
No doy. We're doing CKY, or Can't Kill Yourselves album, Volume 1.
So, Jeff, what's your origin story with CKY? Go.
So, my origin story is CKY, the crew, BAM, the Jackass, pretty Jackass stuff, before the band CKY. Mm-hmm. And I mean, CKY crew got their name from CKY. The band was first, and then BAM used it and started filming stuff, whatever. But I was more into the filming aspect of CKY than I was the band. And it wasn't until much later that I got, I don't want to say into, I've never really been into this band outside of a handful of songs. But there's been 2 times that I've listened to a lot of CKY. One is when I worked at Blockbuster. I think that was right out of high school, right? I was like 18 or 19.
Yeah, I was like right out of high school, yeah.
And I worked
right
with
before
this
they shut
guy.
down.
I worked with this guy, Evan, and he was good friends with Rob, and he was like obsessed with CKY. And one day when we were closing, I put on 96 Quite Bitter Bings, and he like lost it. He's like, oh my fucking God. And then we just talked about CKY constantly after that. And that's why I listened to so much of An Answer Can Be Found, is because that same guy, Evan, I went to Vegas with Rob. Do you remember that time?
Oh, yeah. That was a trip where I was just, that was almost as weird as the Ohio trip that you took.
Hold on there, dude.
Well,
the Ohio trip wasn't that weird because at least one out of the 2 people I went with.
That's okay.
Like I knew, I was close with, I was familiar, we hung out. The Rob Vegas trip was fucking bizarre because both of them I really didn't know that well. And it was funny because I had worked with this guy, Evan, at Blockbuster. And when we were driving over to Vegas, I was like talking about it, and we had talked, we had fucking met like multiple times, right? And we had like, we never hung out, but we had talked extensively about CKY, about music, about skating. He had no idea who I was. Fucking no idea.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no idea who I was.
What a
like,
fucking weirdo.
I was like, we worked together for like 4 months, bro. Like, are you kidding me? I'm the only other person there that was in our age group. Whatever. So he loved CKY. He loved An Answer Could Be Found. And that came out right before I started working at Blockbuster, like 2005. And the other time was my cousin's ex. He used to take me to a bunch of shows, specifically Avenged Sevenfold, because that was like one of his favorite bands. So I've seen Avenged Sevenfold way more times than I needed to. But CKY went on tour with them a lot, and I saw them like 2 or 3 times open up for Avenged in various areas in LA. And that was cool. But I was still only really there for 96 Quite Bitter Bings, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
like I wasn't familiar with them.
Song.
I'm just that's what I'm there for. So that's really like my entirety of my origin story. But this week, I like them more this week than I ever have in my entire life. I will say.
I agree with you on that last part. Absolutely, they're way better because they're better than I thought they were going to be. I mean, I had 0 expectations. Well, not 0 expectations, because An Answer Can Be Found. I listened to that record a lot. So my origin story is Jackass. Did you know about the CKY videos before Jackass?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that. I mean, you were more into the skating culture than I was, so that makes sense. But Jackass was my introduction to the band, and watching fucking not the golf cart, the shopping cart.
Shopping cart.
And
That's
hearing the
Deco's
song.
bit.
Was it Deco's bit, really?
That's Deco's bit, yeah.
Deco is the best. Okay, so also, we're going to be talking a lot about the actual videos on this episode.
So much.
Yeah, because the videos are just iconic. They're
Yeah,
fucking
I don't give a
amazing.
fuck. Who cares?
But no, yeah, my origin story is Jackass, watching those CKY clips in that show, and then looking it up and finding out, oh my god, there's 2 other CKY videos, and let's watch that. So I got a hold of those ones, and yeah, it's so funny. I mean, obviously the CKY videos are more like skits and skateboarding, where Jackass is just stunts and doing stupid shit. CKY had a little bit of everything, which makes it actually really unique. It makes it more like a show. Not a show. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it just adds this kind of unique feel, and then it makes you kind of realize like Bam Margera is like a really smart dude. He did fucking everything. He shot it. He edited it. You know, he just did everything. He wrote it. He
conceptualized the entire thing.
Yes, it's his baby, and anybody who talks shit on him for that is just, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But yeah, that's my origin story, is Jackass, and then friend of the pod Annie, she loves CKY, or at least she did back in the day. I don't know if she still does. But when her and I met, like in 2003, it was 2003 when we met. She listened to them all the time, and then when An Answer Can Be Found, we both got that on CD, and we would just listen to it all the time. We would drive out to LA to go to a show, and we'd listen to that, or Thrice, or Jeff Buckley, because she loves Jeff Buckley, or whatever. We would just, it was just, but CKY was always a band that we listened to, or her and I listened to. So there's a lot of nostalgia, especially for that record and for the band. But yeah, that's my origin story. So let's get into to your initial thoughts on Volume 1. What do you got?
So listening to this the first time, I had this ranked as like right in the, honestly, right out of the 5 records, this was number 3. This is right in the middle. The more I listen to it, and I think that's just with any album we do on the pod, the more you listen to it, the more you try to find things that you like, or like take out the things you don't like and leave the stuff that you love. I think when we do albums on the pod, they always tend to like get ranked a little bit higher than I would have on just like a first listen. So this one crept up to my number 2, but there's no fucking way this will beat Infiltrate, Destroy, Rebuild. No way. But a couple of things here, which I thought were really funny. I listened to a lot of this stuff at the record store that I work at, Rock This Town Records. You shut up. And this fucking guy walks in, right? And within 5 seconds, dude, he walks in. The door's not even like finishing closing yet. And he's like, dude, is this CKY? I was like, what? Are you serious? And he's from like fucking Phoenix, dude. He grew like born and raised in Arizona. He's 35, like same age as we are. Graduated the same year as high school. And I was like, what the fuck? So I was just like, I was superbly curious onto like the history of what I thought would be like skate culture, right? Because I still think that even though CKY the band came before CKY the videos made CKY the band more popular, because that got traction a lot faster than CKY the band. And CKY the band, there's not a lot there. But he said he listened to the band well before the videos, never even heard of the videos.
What?
Yeah, which I thought was fucking so bizarre. I could not even wrap my head around that aspect. But yeah, he brought it up. I was like, dude, how the fuck did you know this is CKY? He's like, because they're iconic, bro. He's like, they're so unique. That guitar kind of chugging, where it's both of them, and then they add like the little synth in the background, kind of note matching. That's very unique to CKY, and it really is. I don't listen to like a lot of this style of metal music, but there's not a band that I can think of that sounds like CKY. Not to say that CKY is going to win any Grammys anytime soon or be like the best thing ever, but they are very, very unique. Boring more often than not, but very, very unique. And I thought that was really, really interesting, just to get somebody from Arizona's perspective. Even though we're from California, right, where these guys are from the East Coast, but I feel like East Coast and West Coast always develop at the same rate, at the same time.
It's true.
Musically, art, and things like that.
I've never heard anybody say they've heard the band before the videos.
That's fucking weird. I know.
That's really weird. Really, really weird.
So yeah, my first impressions of this album was, meh, it's okay. After like 96 Quite Bitter Beings, which opens up the album, after that it kind of tapers off. But the more I listened to it, the more I kind of like said, okay, calm down, bro, relax, listen to it. It did get better and better and better. There are a lot of, I think almost half these songs are okay. I do have like half bangers, but it is a lot better than I thought it was going to be before we started doing the breakdown.
So yeah, my initial thoughts, I did expect this to be worse because I've listened to this record. Obviously, I've listened to Infiltrate and, my God, what Jesus Christ, Answer to, yeah. I've listened to those, and I've always, besides the third one, I've always just thought, it's just background music. Really, that's what CKY is. They're not bad by any means. They're just more background music, like when you're doing stuff, doing chores, homework, whatever it is, wherever you're at in your life. That's all they really are. But this week, it was really eye-opening, and there are some really great moments, especially on this record. 96 Quite Bitter Beans, it's a great opener. That riff, I think, is iconic. But then after this song, the album sure does take a dip, like big time. It takes a dip. It's still good. Direction. Yeah, and nothing gets nearly as good as this song, like at all. It's a really, really standalone track. But it could also be due to nostalgia and all that. But really, that riff is so cool.
It's so fucking good.
It is. Like not even just like on the catchiness aspect, but the technical aspect of it too. It's not like the easiest riff to play either.
It's not. There's a bunch of slides in there. It's good.
His use of just the single notes of the power chord, single notes, the power. It's just he honestly, Darren is a pretty solid guitar player.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize it until I was watching the CKY videos this week. And a lot of the times Bam would have like shots of Darren recording guitar on the first from the first and second record, and dude, yeah, he's way more technical than I had ever thought. And then you really listen, take a deep dive into his actual playing on the record, and yeah, he's it's like to me this his playing in this band is like a constant jam session. It's like Darren comes up with this one riff and he just jams on it for 3-4 minutes, and then the band just plays along with him. Like every song is essentially just a jam. There's nothing ever. It doesn't really like seem. It doesn't really seem like anything is really very thought out. It's just like I have a riff, play at this BPM, in this key, and then I'll just kind of riff off of that, and that's it. Yeah. And then the vocals are just a placeholder. They're there because they need to be there. That's all that really is. Like I think that's how he wrote the songs, because Darren wrote all the songs on this record, and then it's written by Darren Miller with Chad Ginsburg and Jess Margera. So, I mean, it's all Darren, and you hear it like on that last record that without Darren. I mean, it's a huge, not a huge, but it's fucking fairly totally large stylistic change. Having Chad write all the songs, but anyway, this album, Volume 1, Can't Kill Yourself, which is, for a long time I had no idea that was the meaning behind the band, or that was actually the name of the band. Can't Kill Yourself.
I always thought
that was the original name of the band.
Because I watched the videos before I really knew the band, I always thought the band was just like Jess providing like instrumentation to Bam's videos. Like I didn't realize like the band was a thing trying to get off its feet. And I sure as shit didn't realize until this week that the band was like a third iteration, right? Going from, what was it, some fucking other band name, and then Oil, and then landing on CKY. Yeah. Like I had no idea that it was like two other prior things. I always thought it was just music being made to fit Bam's videos. Like that.
No, I mean, yeah, it's I
for the longest time
that's
what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought it was more of just like Jess's thing, and he kind of had these guys come in with him and record as a band. But no, it predates, like by like 2 or 3 years, it predates the videos. And it wasn't until Bam thought, oh, this might be a really cool idea if we made this as one giant kind of like art project, which it kind of is. The whole CKY brand is kind of an art project. Yeah. From the music to the video to the skateboarding to the artwork, everything is just, it's this giant entity. And I think that's so cool. Like that, and it's so cool, and it's so ambitious for a guy who's like 18 years old.
Not even. They started doing, he was like, fucking 14.
Yeah, no, they were doing the skits far before that. But bringing along all the music and everything that goes along, like everything that we're going to be talking about today, that right there is just, God, dude. I mean, he was the guy Bam has made a lot of questionable decisions over the last 10 years, but what he was doing when he was younger, the guy is an entrepreneur, man. The guy knows what the fuck he's doing. It's admirable, honestly. It really is.
So skate videos have been around for X amount of decades. Not nothing new. Like the first skate video I ever got was Jump Off a Building by Toy Machine. And Jess was in that video, actually. Like I think
Jess
that predates. Yeah, I think that predates CKY too. But like putting music.
What was Jess doing in the video?
Just being himself. Just because Bam was a part of things. He doesn't skate though. No, but like, if you're part of the crew, you're there filming.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
goofing off, drinking at 16. But like skate videos are just are a thing. Whatever, they're fun. It's a montage. And then Jackass was more like an SNL thing. That's sketch. Essentially, that's sketch comedy, is what Jackass is, right? It's sketch comedy
to the extreme.
It's unscripted sketch comedy. But what Bam did was kind of like bridge this underbelly skate culture that people were afraid of, and then bring it to like the SNL crowd. He brought sketch comedy into this thing where now it's accessible to 15-year-olds, to like 20-year-olds, to 30-year-olds. Like everybody is fucking either shocked by it or think it's hilarious. But everybody knows what it is. Everyone's seen it. And sure as shit now. And I know like Johnny Knoxville, I didn't realize he was doing this type of like stunts as early as he was with the whole like gunshot thing that we talked about off pod. Like I didn't know that was so early on in his career. But Jackass would not be Jackass without CKY. Fuck no. No way. No way.
I mean, obviously, Jackass was the combination of Big Brother magazine and CKY. I mean, Big Brother was doing similar things, but it was mainly focused on skating with like kind of stunts. But CKY had it all. CKY had the stunts, the skits, the skateboarding, the music. And it wasn't just... And what's so cool about Bam is that he didn't only utilize, other artists, like, big name bands like Ramones, Black Flag, the big punk bands or whatever. Instead, he had his fucking brother's band come in and do most of the music for these videos, especially the first two videos. It was mostly CKY. But Big Brother took, music from all these kind of hardcore bands and stuff like that. And I love how kind of in-house the whole CKY thing was. They rarely kind of went out of that realm. And it's like, once you're kind of a part of the CKY crew, you're always a part of it. Like when you watch the videos, they credit so many videos or so many skaters and stuff as like part of the crew. And I think that's so cool. It's so
cool.
And everybody has their own little stupid nicknames, as cheesy as they are. It's like, he made this like almost like this whole universe. It's really, it's fascinating, honestly. What this kid, I mean, he was a kid. What this kid did and was capable of.
I think the only other, if you like rank like most popular skaters, not just like the best skater, medals, whatever, the most popular skater, Tony Hawk's always number one. Always gonna be number one. Always will be. Number two is Bam. Bam is the second most like popular skateboarder of all time. And I think like what he did with CKY was we're seeing sketch comedy, but not in like a single camera thing like we see SNL in. We're seeing like the skater himself is holding the video camera now, right? So it's it's something in between like SNL, Mad TV, and then like home videos. I'm skateboarding and holding the camera at me, knowing I'm about to get fucked. And like that's the other thing too. Like people are getting hurt, and it's funny. Yeah, because that's what we want to see.
Well, a couple things too with CKY is that the videos. I mean, you were more into the skating culture than I was, but up to that point, up to the CKY videos, there weren't a lot of videos showing people getting hurt, of people bailing out. It was always of skaters like landing the trick, doing the trick 100 times and landing it twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with CKY, there was a great balance of all of it, of the fuck ups, the injuries, the landing of the tricks. It was a great combination of that. And what I love about the editing of especially the fourth CKY is just a best of. That's all that really is. It's like it's like the B sides of CKY 3. But But like the first two are like just this. He balanced it so well to where like, okay, you get enough of the skating stuff, and then he'll drop into like a skit, but not like the full skit. He'll do like a quarter of that skit or half the skit, and then jump into like a stunt, and then go back to the skit. Like his editing and the way he developed, I don't want to say the story, but the way he developed the timeline of these videos was really good because it kept your attention. Like you didn't get bored. Like some of the skits are fucking dumb. They're really, really dumb.
Yeah.
But because he split them the way he did, it made it okay. Like it was a nice break between everything else. And not only that, what I think makes CKY the video so great also is that, you know, it seemed like, well, they were all friends. Like it wasn't just a bunch of paid actors with Bam writing everything. Bam was in on it. They were just like buddies, and everybody could relate to that. We could all relate to doing stupid things when we're 12, 14 years old, you know? You and I, we both did stupid shit like this. Even before seeing Jackass and CKY.
CKY inspired me to skate more. Like I was never good at skating. Like at best, I could probably kickflip on my first, maybe second attempt. Like at best. Like that's how good I was at skating. I was never good at it, never really liked it that much. But I did it because of CKY. Like that's why I started skating, was because of these videos.
There you go. That's so rad. It's
I got
so
out.
rad.
I met people. I fucking had friends that I don't ever talk to. I'd stopped talking to ever since high school, really. But like those memories, those experiences that we had, like those will always be with you. You know, like those friends that you had early on. Like you probably don't talk to them. You don't know who they are. You know where they went. You don't even follow them on Facebook anymore. But like those are the memories that shaped who you are today.
Yeah,
and it's because
of
this fucking kid, this Bam Margera, this fucking guy.
This fucking guy.
Who's equally ugly and annoying and fucking selfish and puts himself in every goddamn fucking popular skit that he possibly can. But damn, dude, the guy, like, I don't know.
He created something great. He really did.
He created a world. Like you said, a universe.
He was never the best at anything he did. You know, he was never the best part of the skit. He was never the best part of the stunt. He was never the best skateboarder, like we already touched upon. But it was his character, and it was who he surrounded himself with, and then what he built around those people. You know, it's God. He does not get enough credit. He really doesn't, and it sucks. He deserves it, honestly. He really, really does. And it's such a shame he's fallen down such like a crazy, I don't know, thing right now. It sucks.
I think a lot of it stems from Dunn. Obviously, when Dunn died.
Yeah. I
mean, Dunn and Bam were friends. That's like an understatement. They were fucking twins. They were brothers. They were.
Oh yeah.
So they were closer than anybody in the Jackass universe, CKY universe ever was, and so that really fucked them up. And like these kids were so young, and by the time CKY 4 hit, right, Jackass had already started because Knoxville was done. CKY 3 and CKY 4, they're already making a bunch of fucking money, and they're still like 19. Like Rab himself was barely 21. By the time he's, you know that skit where he pushes him in the shopping cart and he runs into the fucking vending machine and slams his head into the vending machine? He was like 21 at that point. Already pulling in a pretty big paycheck for these guys in like rural Pennsylvania. Like they don't fucking know what to do with this money. They don't know what they're supposed to do with it. All they do is just drink and do a bunch of drugs because they're kids.
Yes. No, you're right. And talking about that vending machine skit.
It looks like Rab dies, dude. It looks like Rab like hits his head and fucking dies. Does.
And that skit has Jimmy Pop and Evil Jared from Bloodhound Gang.
Yeah.
Because they're really good friends with him. And it's Evil Jared who convinces him to do it the second time.
Evil Jared's huge. He's like, oh yeah, just do it. You'll be fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And then as he's pushing, he's like, yeah, he's gonna fucking die.
It's so fucked up, man. Evil Jared, man, that guy.
Is he big in real life? Because he looks fucking huge in these videos.
I think he's like 6'3". He's a big guy, and he's jacked.
And he's ripped.
Fucking
exactly.
jacked,
yeah, he's fucking ripped.
Yeah, I mean, you never ended up watching that Bloodhound Gang DVD, did you?
No,
man, you gotta. It's gonna make you feel really, really uncomfortable in so many ways. Like what Evil Jared did to their drummer, that original drummer. It's fucked up, man. It's sad. It's really, really sad. But like he has that. There were parts that were really funny, but then I recommend everybody. You could probably find. Oh, maybe not on YouTube because there's a lot of nudity in it. I don't know. Go watch that Bloodhound Gang DVD from their tour on their second record, One Fierce Beer Coaster, because it's fucking insane. It's so insane. I even have my own Evil Jared story when I didn't even meet the guy, but I was around him, and it was quite the experience.
Was it the House of Blues show?
Yeah, it was that House of Blues show. I've never experienced a show like that before.
How the fuck is, I remember the story. How the fuck is that even like legal? That's one of the reasons why Disneyland's like, nah, dude, we don't want this House of Blues shit.
Yeah, they banned the band after that show. And that was one of the last shows they played in the U.S. until I think like 2012. Because at that point they said they would never play a show in the United States until George Bush was out of office. And I think it ended up being... Boys. Yeah, and I think it ended up being like until 2012 when they finally played a show in the U.S. again.
Like as if that's gonna make a fucking difference on any like platform.
I think they
whatsoever.
I think they were just doing it to piss people off because that's all that band did was do things to piss people off.
Silly boys.
But yeah, dude, that was a show I will never forget.
Wild.
It was fucking insane. Anyway, but we're not talking about Bloodhound Gang. We're talking about CKY. We haven't even 0-2. We've barely even talked about
96 Quite Bitter Wings.
Yeah, let's get back into this song. Let's focus up here.
So I just another thing about CKY, the band,
the
videos. Every time I hear that dee, all they can think of is Bam doing the middle finger to devil horns to middle finger on the beat. Dee, middle finger, devil horns, middle finger, devil horns, middle finger, devil horns. Yeah. And I still, to this day, like whenever I listen to the song, I always try and do it as fast as I can. Because Bam does it so good. He did it really good.
He does, yeah.
I know, but this is their most iconic song. By far, hands down. It's an absolute killer riff. Watching him play it, because there's a couple slides. It just looks cool. It's visually appealing. It's a good looking riff. And then using the synth under like the main riff just adds like a nice depth to the song. It's very, very CKY. And again, not many bands sound like CKY. And they don't always sound great when they do it, but fuck, man, it's iconic. And this is just...
It really is.
This is fun, man. I love Jess's drum beat. It's simple. Adds that little open hi-hat note every so often. And like those dark background vocals. That is goofy. That is like...
I know.
That is what Ghost should be doing. This is why I say like Ghost sounds too serious. This is obviously fucking goofy. You cannot take this seriously, no matter what. You can see him like holding like beers in their hands, like chugging back and forth like a pirate shanty, right? It is goofy. It sounds goofy. It sounds extraordinarily fun. I love it.
Yes, I do too. And I think the way you're talking about with Jess's drums, that kind of disco beat, I love that part too. I love it, and just how when it drops into that verse, it's just like bum 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 bottom bum bum, and then there's this little slide, and then the vocals drop in there, and it's so heavy. And then the only part of the song which I think is kind of weird is when it just turns into complete
sloppy
chaos.
That
sloppy part. They do it 2 or 3 times in the song. Yeah. You're like, why are you doing this?
It's good.
It's just this fucking wall of noise that just hits you, but then it immediately drops back into the verse kind of, but then Jess is kind of doubling it up on the drums, like da 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 da, and then it's a really interesting song. I mean, there's so many different things going on in this song, in this 3.5, almost 4 minute song.
Yeah,
man, it's all over the place. And then I didn't know this, but lyrically, this is it's part of a trilogy.
Cool. It is
pretty cool. So so the song is based around a fictitious town called Hellview, and in this song it talks about these guys driving in the middle of nowhere. They go through this small town of 96 people, and they don't like people passing through, and they kill people that come through. And so that's the story of this song is them initially driving through Hellview and then running away and kind of like building that world of Hellview. And then there are 2 other songs on other records. I don't remember the name of the songs right now. I think one of them is called Hellview. But yeah, it's a story of this overarching story that goes throughout their career, the band's career.
I think it's so cool. Like it's based. I mean, it's inspired by like slasher films of like the 70s and the 80s. but it builds the world. It really builds the world. And you listen to the lyrics and you read about them, and it's kind of like telling a story through like a narrative perspective, right? It's saying like, here's what's happening, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. But it's a little bit deeper than that. It's a little bit deeper because like at one point the guys are like running for their lives, and they're talking about footprints. They're leaving footprints in the mud, but like leaving footprints in the mud, they're going to be able to be followed and then get killed. And the song ends with like, all we ever wanted, and then it kind of tapers off because I think these two guys kind of knew what they were getting themselves into. They knew about the town of Hellview. They knew what happens to people that go there, but they went there anyway, right? Maybe journalists, maybe thrill seekers, whatever it is. But when you know there's trouble there and you still go there anyway, and then be surprised about like when you experience that trouble, I think that's kind of cool. And the song ends with all we ever wanted, and then it just tapers off.
But there are other parts where he says where they want an answer.
Yeah, the last one though just doesn't do that. It's like that's them being killed, being captured, and then they'll finish it further in the subsequent stories. But I didn't go back and read the part 2 and part 3.
Yeah, I should have, but whatever.
I don't know. I like it as is. I really do. I think this was a fucking dope song. This is way better lyrically. This song specifically was way better lyrically than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. It was great. I loved it.
It's way deeper, way deeper than I was expecting.
Dude, the wah on the vocal part, the wah 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 wah. Yeah. So dumb. God, it's good.
Yeah, this song is. I mean, this song is really a beyond banger. It really is. I mean, everything about it is. It's a perfect song. It really is a perfect song. So, do we have anything else on this one?
No, that's it. That's all.
Okay. So I wanted to shout out real quick. One of the reasons why we're doing this album this week is because a listener of the podcast, requested that we do CKY. He loves this band, so we're doing it for him. And I just wanted to shout him out real quick.
I want to hear this dude's rankings of the albums.
Yeah, I'm curious too. Yeah, if you're listening, DM us and let us know your rankings, because I want to hear why you really like them as much as you do. I mean, they're great, but I mean, we're not lifelong CKY fans, so DM us. I don't think CKY is anybody's favorite band. I just don't. There's not enough here to be your favorite band, even like by nostalgia standpoint. There's not enough here to be a favorite band. This is a band that you love, that you hold near and dear to your heart. Maybe it's a little goofy, but a favorite band, I don't know if I see that. I don't see enough here to be a favorite band. And that's not a bad thing, because there are a lot of bands like that I feel fit that description. They're just anyway.
I mean, my favorite band has done more bad than good, but it's my favorite band because they released my favorite album.
Yeah,
but they've done more bad than good.
I would agree with you on that. Well, yeah, I would say more bad than good.
Your favorite band too. They've done way more bad than good.
Well, that's wrong. I would say it's like 90%. Like it's like 90-10. 90 good, 10
for Korn?
Questionable. Yeah, for Korn.
You got to be joking my ass right now.
I wouldn't even say that 10% is bad. I just say that 10% is questionable. Oh my God. It's questionable. 90% amazing. So, okay. Hey man, I don't make the rules.
Yeah, okay.
So,
what is your 2B?
Oh shit, dude, you're really jumping into this.
All right. Yeah.
So my 2B is Promiscuous Daughter.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, okay. So how? Okay. Do you have any? Before we move on, do you have any stinkers on this record?
No.
Okay, I have one stinker.
Which one? To all of you?
To all of you, yes.
Yeah. Figured. That's all right.
That doesn't sit as a banger for you, right?
This one's no, for sure no. This one's okay through and through. I guess it was supposedly inspired by the My Bloody Valentine song Sometimes.
Wait, To All of You song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I listened to the My Bloody Valentine song Sometimes, and I thought that song was pretty dope. Like, I thought it was pretty fucking good. But I did put My Bloody Valentine on my listen to list now that I have a different perspective on it. And then Darren did this song acoustically on like his solo album, Acoustified or something shit like that.
Yeah,
and it was pretty cool.
Did that. Okay.
But it's not a great song. No, it's an okay song through and through. It'll never be a banger, but I don't think it's a stinker. No.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I did not like it at all.
Okay, all
I
right.
thought it was really boring. It was too slow. I mean, they're already a band, like we said. They're a band that does a lot of the same, and it's never really great, most of it. And to do a song like this is just, I just don't care. It's not it's not good. So yeah, that's my stinker on here. But how many bangers do you have?
I think I have 5.
Okay, I have 4.
I have 5 bangers.
Okay, got it. So I have 4, and yeah, my number 2 is Promiscuous Daughter. So what do you think about this one?
This is an okay song, but I put this as almost a B. It was close. But
and why is that?
There's not a lot here. I really think it's just based around like that main kind of riff.
Yeah.
And this is like a jam song. There's a lot of really fucking dope like heavy parts. But I just don't think it goes anywhere. I don't think it goes anywhere musically. I don't think it goes anywhere lyrically. And I think if I'm looking for a cool kind of like psychedelic metal jam song, there are better of that on this album than My Promiscuous Daughter.
So what I like about this song is that it's a little bit faster. It sounds like it's not Darren singing on this song, because he's not doing his typical vocals, I guess, vocal stylings. So I kind of like that. The main riff too, it has this kind of very swingy, catchy feel to it. And it just follows that vocal melody so well. Some great drum fills and transitions from Jess. And that's another thing too. I never really thought about Jess as being a great drummer, but he's fucking solid, man. He has some really, really great parts, and he's really in the pocket. He just knows how to play to these damn songs, and he's busy when he needs to be, and it's great. And this is one of those examples. Also, you know, when everything kind of when the guitars stop and it's just the bass playing that melody line, fucking great. And then it slows down quite a bit at that part, and then it just gets very stoner rock, but then it picks up again too. It's this great breakdown, this great bridge of just slowing it down to that stoner rock thing and then bringing it back out of it. It's a great song. I think it's definitely one of the more varied songs, one of the more songs that has a, that's not just one sound, you know. It's not just like, not just like one wall of sound. Like a lot of CKY is just you're just getting hit with a lot of noise. There's not a lot of dynamics to the song, but My Promiscuous Daughter is one of those songs where I feel like there is that dynamic. There's the highs, the lows, the little bit of build up. So there's a bit more going on in the song, and it really kind of stood out to me. So that's why it's my number 2, honestly.
Okay. I think like Knee Deep is a better version of My Promiscuous Daughter. I think Knee Deep has more of what I want out of Promiscuous Daughter than it does. But okay, that's fine.
Do we want to play any of these songs? I don't think. Should we not play? I don't know. We've already played one song, so. Do you want to play any of these songs, or you just kind of want to run through them?
I don't really care. We can just run through them.
Okay.
Some of these songs are fucking good. Like My Tubi's Disengage the Simulator.
Okay.
Dude, that song is good.
It's a good song. It didn't make my banger list, though.
Oh my God. What is happening to here?
It's a good
What is
song,
going
though.
on? What happened?
Nothing happened. It just...
Fuck.
Like I said at the beginning of the episode, and I think I said it in the rankings too, like this is a band that I need to sit down with more. I need to spend more time with to really kind of absorb what's going on and figure it out. Because this is not a one-time listen band. These songs aren't made that way. They're meant for the slow burn.
Yes, that's for sure. And I listened to this album in 3 different ways: headphones, on my home system, and then also at the record store, which the record store is going through just one speaker. So you're just getting, there's no dynamic whatsoever. So headphones, you're getting just like Inner Raleigh at the drive-in, you're getting a totally different dynamic than you are through one speaker at a retail environment. And Disengage the Simulator, this is I was getting to this one. This is it's like a cover song of CKY before CKY was CKY. Foreign Objects was the band. Did you listen to the Foreign Objects version of the song?
No, I did not.
So the Foreign Objects version of the song is just aggressive. Not like musically where it's like faster. It's just vocally just very like guttural, very raspy, very yelling, very screaming, very much Cannibal Corpse sounding.
Oh wow!
But fuck, man, I think the way CKY did it is so much better. There's so much more layering. There's so much more depth. And I just love that fucking riff in the verse. I think that's, besides 96 Quite Bitter Bings, it's the best riff on the album.
Yeah.
Best riff on the album.
Yeah, I mean, that riff really is solid.
It's
and the
so
way that,
goddamn good.
And the way the bass transitions in and out of the verse and chorus, the bass playing on parts of this record are really underrated. Because, I mean, obviously they don't have a bass player in this band. It's just two guitar players. And really, Darren plays the bass, but he's not a bass player. So he just pretty much just follows along with whatever the guitar is doing, which is fine. But there are little moments, like in this song, where the bass kind of cuts through and he does something a little, churches it up a little bit. Let's just say that, which isn't even a lot because CKY is not a band that churches anything up. So I don't know. It's still a really good song. I mean, if anything, this would be a bottom tier banger for me. But final listen through, this didn't hit my banger list. And I also listened to this record 3 different ways. I listened to it with earbuds, through my speakers, and then through my car stereo, which sucks. But
at least you're still getting the different channels, and you're still getting a stereo thing.
Really, earbuds, headphones are the best way to listen to anything, I believe. Unless you have like a really, really solid stereo setup. But really, earbuds, headphones are the best way to go.
I agree. Earbuds are the way to go. I have a decent setup, at least downstairs. And I think putting something loud and just being in a good mood while you're doing it also has like a lot to do with the album that you're listening to.
Yeah.
And my downstairs speakers are very loud.
But like I said, CKY, they're not a dynamic band. It's just a wall of noise. There's not much to dive into in that sense.
Well, there's 2 guitarists playing essentially 2 guitars and a bass playing the same fucking notes. And then adding a synth like a Moog in the background, playing the same notes.
Yeah, I know.
Which is goofy and dumb and basic, but again, like that sounds like CKY. This motherfucker comes into the random record store in Arizona and says, "Is this CKY?" Like, what?
Which is funny because like when you look at a band, like a big band record music, they'll have multiple guitar tracks of just one part, of just the rhythm section. They'll have 3 different guitars just playing that rhythm section, 2 guitars playing the lead. And in this instance, it's just 3 guitars or 2 guitars and a synth and bass all playing the one. It's like they took out only a portion of like a normal big band recording. Like it's like they never filled in the gaps. They just took like a half-assed version of a recording at a big studio, and that's CKY. If that makes any fucking sense.
This comes from like Darren and Chad like producing shit themselves. Like they know the sound that they want to achieve. I don't know if it's this sound, but I think it is this type of sound because even An Answer Can't Be Found sounds like this. It's just better musicianship. Oh, so this is the sound they want. They want this. I don't want to. I hate saying iconic because iconic makes you think like, oh, Zeppelin, iconic. But it is iconic. It's very unique to this band. And I think it's cool that these guys knew the sound that they wanted to achieve and achieved it fucking perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
The music was never quite there.
And a little bit of backstory on this record, and really the band too. I mean, outside of the CKY videos, the way that they all kind of, Jess and Darren they played in bands prior to this, and when they started recording this record, it took about 2 years to record this record. They ended up spending, I think it was $16,000 or $15,000 on the making of this record. Most of it was financed through Darren's dad, who financed most of it. And then they actually met Chad in the studio. Chad was one of the engineers in that studio, and he was working on the record with him. And then they struck up a friendship, and then they realized, they started working together, playing together, and then Chad joined the band. Then the band became CKY because, like you said earlier, they were a band called Oil, and then once Chad joined the fold, then they became CKY, that entity, and then the rest is history. And now they hate each other. So, that's the little backstory on this one, on this album, on this band. But anyway, Disengage the Simulator. What do you have lyrically on this one?
Supposedly this is about a guy who is fed up and tries to commit suicide by driving off some type of cliff or bridge, but on his way down realizes he doesn't want to die and then changes his mind, which I see all of that except for the changing in the mind part. I don't think that part fits the narrative. I don't think that part fits the music, because I do see it as like a suicide. Somebody like, fuck this shit, I'm over it. But I think that the music lends to this like sort of calming vibe that makes me think that this guy in question is at peace with his decision. So on his way down, he's like, yeah, this is what I want. And like that's what the fucking music sounds like. I don't hear any questioning. I don't hear any second thoughts.
I think you nailed it, because I heard the same thing about it. Him like committing suicide and then regretting it at the very end. But I didn't pick that up on the lyrics either. That regret. Yeah. I just felt like it was the process of the guy committing suicide. Kind of the brief thought process beforehand, and then the actual act of it. So
and that matches the album entirely. And the album is very fucking dark lyrically. And these lyrics were much better than I thought. I thought these were going to be throwy fucking lyrics. I thought these lyrics were going to be garbage and goofy and juvenile. But they were, they're no, like Dustin Crenshaw, who did Thrice, but they're pretty good. These are pretty good lyrics. They were fun to read through. There's a couple different ways like you can interpret things. And I had a good time doing it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, since we're bringing up suicide, we're talking about suicide right now. Let's talk about the cover art, the original cover art. Oh, so it was, yeah, I thought it was, well, not the act itself, but the actual artwork was cool. Was cool. It was of the suicide of a guy named Bud Dwyer.
Bud Dwyer,
so in 1987. Baby. What?
Bud Dwyer, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he committed suicide on TV, I believe it was. Yeah, it was.
Have you ever seen the video?
Well, I don't know if it was him. Oh, it was him, because he was accused of something. Yeah. He takes a revolver.
Perjury, racketeering, fucking bribery.
I have seen that video.
Crooked.
Yeah.
I watched that video like back in college when I was like really into watching people die, which, whatever. People go through that phase.
I remember watching it on gross.com.
I watched it on rotten.com, yeah.
Oh, rotten.com, yeah. That's what I'm thinking of, rotten.com.
Fucking just weird shit, dude. Everybody goes through that phase, right? You just want to see people die. So whatever.
Oh, dude, there was a point where, this is like early 20s, my friend George and I, we would be like late at night, and we'd start like, this is when we were still using AIM, but we were still in our early 20s, and we would start like talking, and then we'd start looking up videos of like the grossest, sometimes most gruesome shit we could find. But our only rules were no animal cruelty and no children. Those were all our rules. But anything else was fair game. Oh, and rape. And rape was the other thing. We said no rape, no children, no animals. So we'd scour the internet and find the most fucked up videos and send them to each other. And it was horrific. It was fucking horrific. I can't believe what people do to each other or to themselves. Like a lot of the shit we found was just shit people doing to themselves. Like dick chop. Remember that shit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, there was some gnarly fucking shit, man. It was.
And again, like bringing it back to like today's times, right? Like we don't need to search these rotten, nasty fucking things, because every day on the fucking news, someone's getting shot. Like some mass shooting is happening.
Crazy, yeah.
Something is crazy is happening on the news every fucking goddamn day.
Yeah.
But this one was insane. This Bud Dwyer guy. This was right when we were born, dude. This is like the mid to late 80s.
87, right? So it was the year we were born, yeah.
Yeah,
both born in 87.
The guy pulls a fucking gun out of like his jacket pocket while giving a speech, and just like
and you could hear everybody gasp too. Like when he pulls it out, you can hear everybody gasp, but he does it so quickly. Like I can't believe how quickly and fluidly he did it. The way he pulled it out of his pocket, put it into his mouth, and just shot it. It all happened within probably 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's amazingly fast, and then he just immediately just drops.
Yeah.
And I just remember just the blood, the amount of blood that came out of him, like out of his nose and stuff. It was almost
a revolver. It was like a fucking Magnum revolver that he shot himself with. The hole in the back of his head was probably the size of a fucking golf ball or a fucking softball. It was huge.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I remember just the amount of blood gushing out of his nose and shit. and mouth. It's a crazy fucking video. I think if you're a grown ass adult, you should go watch it because it's very sobering, I guess. I feel like watching this stuff as like a young adult, I feel like it's important watching it. And I feel like every once in a while watching these kind of videos is important because it's not that it desensitizes you. I feel like it puts things into perspective and it makes things it just puts things in a better perspective. Like
for sure.
Because we are so desensitized. Yeah, because we are so desensitized to suicide and violence, but we never actually see the violence a lot of the times. You know what I mean? Like we're always told this is what happened, but we never actually see the carnage of it.
Yeah.
But once you are shown the carnage, you're like, wow, this is fucked.
And especially with politicians, right? Because everybody fucking hates politicians.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, do you hate them this much?
Yeah, seriously.
This guy was scummy, dude. This guy was a fucking scumbag for sure.
Oh yeah,
no doubt about it. But like this much of a scumbag? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
yes
okay.
or no? I don't know.
Well, let's go back a little bit. Do we all know that politicians are scumbags? Because there's a lot of politician worship, especially in the last 15 or so years.
I don't give a fuck. If you're going into the political sphere for the sole purpose of making money, you're a scumbag.
I agree. I agree with you on that.
Scumbag. Don't care.
No, I agree with you, but what I'm saying is there are a lot of people who don't believe that. They worship these politicians.
Oh no,
like Trump, Obama, Biden.
Our
Bush.
Society worships politicians the way we worship fucking gods. It's
fucking disgusting. It's fucking Bernie Sanders. Like, why are you worshiping these people? It's like they're just scummy fucking people. All of them.
It's fucking no different than like athletes. How we worship athletes and we'll fight each other. We'll kill each other over our sports teams.
I know.
And these people
insanity.
don't give a shit about you.
It's absolute fucking insanity. But
yeah, that was his cover
whatever.
art. Was this guy Bud Dwyer executing himself?
And
they
then
changed that pretty damn quick.
Well, I mean, really, Volcom was the label that they eventually signed to, and then Volcom said, "Well, we don't want Camp Kill Yourself as the name of the band, as the name of the record, so we'll just call it Camp." And that's kind of why they transitioned from the Camp Kill Yourself to CKY, and then they did after this the initial run of this CD, because it wasn't really pressed on vinyl. I don't think. I think they put it on CD, and then they had this original artwork, and then when it was reissued on Volcom, that's when they changed their cover art to Chad up on stage during Warped Tour.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool story too. They got kicked off of Warped Tour in 2000, I believe it was. They got kicked off of Warped Tour because they were uniting with fans who were protesting the vendors at Warped Tour for being too expensive. And I thought, dude, that's fucking rad. And that fucking stupid ass Warped Tour. It's like what Warped Tour did to Guttermouth because they went against the grain just to piss people off. And this is the same thing. This is like almost exactly the same thing. Fuck Warped Tour. Fuck that shit.
Hold on there, dude.
I mean, I love going, but
I don't want to say fuck Warped Tour because Warped Tour did do a lot of good for no-name bands, for bands that were just kind of on C tier, D tier. But I mean, with any festival, there's going to be controversy. And yeah, I get it. There's going to be predatory things going on at any festival. Be the next thing. I get it. It's going to happen. I don't like it. I don't love it. I think it could have been done better. I think they did do better as the years progressed. But also Warped Tour, I mean, since like 2017, a lot of things came to light, and a lot of people have come forward and said, Warped Tour was like this venue, or this like, this conduit to predators, because a lot of this music appealed to underage girls, and a lot of these girls were taken advantage of by a lot of these bands. A lot of shit came to light. Look at all the Burger Records shit, Yeah, but that's not Warped Tour's fault. It's
not Warped Tour's fault.
That's you and me.
I agree.
Failing like our friends and friends of friends and friends. You know what I mean?
I agree. But at some point, the organizers, the promoters, advertisers, they had to have gotten wind of what was actually happening.
But at that point,
they let it continue because of money.
I don't know if they let it continue because, I mean, we only went to Warped Tour a finite amount of years, and it was only a compacted amount of years. Like, we didn't go to the first one and the last one, you know what I mean? There was always, like, high school era and beyond was the years we went to Warped Tour.
Yeah.
But by the time a conglomerate as Warped Tour finds out something is happening and then decides on how to act on that thing that is happening, I mean, we're talking 5, 6, 7 years.
But you also think, but come on, really, like the big thing that is Warped Tour, you think they're going to admit something like this, something so negative about the Warped Tour, and then lose advertisers and all that kind of shit.
But
lose
it's not
concert
Warped
goers.
Tour's fault. It's fucking Newfound Glory
I know.
for the grooming. It's fucking
No, I
Simple
know.
Plan. It's all these pop punk acts that, like you said, that like tailor to teenage girls, but then also like teenage boys, and throw them in the same pit, and then never fucking say anything. It's not like Warped Tour's fault. It's every pop punk band that
I
we
think it's a
love.
little bit of everybody. I
And
mean,
it's
obviously,
fucking-
it's the most of the.
It's shocking.
100% the
and,
fault.
And
Yeah.
I'm happy that like Blink-182 has not been like canceled at that point, because come on, dude. Like
Yeah,
listening to fucking Mark, Tom, and Travis show, awkward, weird.
it is. Yeah, 20 years later.
It's fucking weird. And we did the Britney Spears episode. Like, oops, I did it again. Like that was, I can't even listen to that shit anymore. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I know. It's way, way, way too weird. I was
Pervy and
blown away.
rapey and disgusting, dude. It's fucking weird.
You're right. Especially that first record, the Baby One More Time one. That was way worse than Oops, I Did It Again. Both were terrible.
I think pop punk like started that kind of like grooming culture, but I think like the My Chemical Romance era of like emo really like owned it.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't think that's Warped Tour's fault. I think that's fucking record label's fault, to be honest. I don't give a fuck.
I think everybody has some fault in it. Obviously, some more than others, but I think everybody is at fault.
Yeah. And
whatever.
God damn, dude. It's so irritating. Ugh. Fucking
All right.
bastards.
So let's move on. What song are we on? Damn.
Move along. Doesn't you know you will. We're on 3B. My 3B. You want to do your 3B? What's your 2B?
No.
Your 2B was fucking Promiscuous Daughter. Why?
Because it's a good song. So what's your 3B?
God. My 3B is a Human Drive in Hi-Fi.
That's my number 3 too. So what do you got?
Boy, this is what you think CKY sounds like in this time, in this era, in this time frame, and this is featured in a lot of CKY videos. This song specifically, that staccato like goofy thing, and like the verse reminds me of Deco. The way he like that staccato like delivery. That's very Deco sounding. That's what Deco was doing, and I think CKY the band and CKY the videos took from each other. I think CKY the band, you know, they had their mindset. They say, hey, we want to do this. But every time you see Deco doing his freestyles in the CKY videos, who's manning like the fucking soundboard, right? Who's creating the beats? And it's always like Chad.
It's always
Chad's
or
always
Jess.
back there. Chad's always fucking back there hitting them beats. And I think Chad is like the weakest member of the band because I don't think he does a lot. I mean, obviously Darren does everything. And then Jess, I think, brings a lot of neutrality,
flair.
middle ground.
also
But
a
I think
lot of flair. That
I think Chad's like the
Darren-
middle. But Chad looks the part. Chad looks like CKY, right? Like Darren's just like this clean cut kind of white guy with Raytheon looking hair. But like Chad looks scruffy. You know, he pissed on Gigi Allen's grave and shit. Like Chad CKY, dude. But like every time you see
he's the
Deco
rock
do
star.
these freestyles, it's always Chad manning like the little soundboard where he's hitting the beats. And so I think they both are pulling from each other. And I don't think CKY the band would have been as big had it not been for CKY the movies. And I don't think CKY the movies would have been as big had it not been for CKY the band putting their music in there. I think it
I
was
would
like
agree
this
with you.
symbiotic relationship.
It was an art project. I mean, as cheesy and stupid as it sounds, it was a giant art project.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
it
it's
is.
so good.
It is.
All
It's
put on
fantastic.
by fucking BAM.
Yeah.
By a 15, 16-year-old.
Controlling all of it. It's pretty remarkable. How much trust they put into this guy to create this whole CKY brand. And
even
really,
like Bam,
I mean,
Bam like knew how great Deco was. He knew how great Rab was. He knew how great Rake was. He knew how great Dunn was. And he put these people in their element, right? Like Deco was the best at impressions, at freestyling, at just being the person to drive skits forward because he can just talk.
yeah.
And that's what Bam did. Bam put him in those positions. Dunn would just fucking do anything, right? When everyone else was like, I don't want to do that. Even fucking Steve-O wouldn't stick the car up his ass. So Dunn did it.
So
And
Dunn
Bam
did it,
knew
yeah.
that. Bam knew like, hey, if nobody else wants to do this skit that I have a good idea, I'm gonna put it on Dunn, and Dunn will do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Rab was just there to have a good time, get drunk, and do the nasty stuff. He did the nastier stuff. I feel like he was more. Rab was the whipping boy of the crew. He was the one that was like.
Rab was the bottom of the barrel. I see Rab as bottom of the barrel. Like, oh fuck, it's late, we're drunk. Let's just get one more shot in. I don't know. Put Rab in this.
But
Let's
he
have
also
Rab
did
piss
some
on a fence.
The pissing on the fence, the shitting on
Shit
the
on
window.
a fucking window. Yeah,
dude, that was. Every time I watch that, I can't believe he actually did that. That is. It. First of all, it's fucking disgusting. But second, it is one of the ballsiest things you could fucking do in New York, which is already, I mean, it's already a gross city, but to do that in front of like a nice restaurant and just, dude, I can't believe he did that right in front of those fucking people.
After watching the CKYs, and then I watched so much CKY last night, and then I watched Jackass, and then I watched a lot of Jackass episodes, and then I watched Jackass Forever, but I got 30 minutes in and turned it off because it's terrible.
Yeah, it's nothing compared to the first three at all.
It's bad. But one of my favorite parts of the CKY was when Deco wipes his ass with toilet paper and puts it on Dunn's face and like wipes it, and he's just like, welcome aboard, and like wipes it on his face. And then Dunn wakes up and he's all pissed off. And then Bam says, yeah, you should get him back. You should put jelly on him. And Dunn's like, what the fuck? Jelly? He put shit on my face and you want me to put jelly on him? Oh my God, I fucking lost it. Just the fact that like Bam thought it was a good idea to get back at somebody with poop with jelly. Dude, that was probably like my favorite part.
And then the next day in the car, Deco is pissed at Ryan for pissing on him. And it's like, wait, you put shit on his face. He pissed on you, yeah, which is bad, but putting shit on somebody is way worse. And then Dunn was like, well, Bam, at least Bam's a good friend. He was telling me to put jelly on you.
I think like I'm no fucking scientist or nothing like that, but I think you could withstand ingesting like urine longer than you could feces.
Good shit. Oh yeah,
I think you'll die after like X amount of feces, whereas like urine would be like X to like the third power. There's no way. God damn, that's fucking funny.
That's so much worse. And then
I also saw this week that when Bam and Dunn met, they formed a band called Soul Roach in high school.
Okay.
Have you heard of Soul Roach?
I have not.
So Bam and Jess and then another guy I forgot, they formed a band called Soul Roach in high school. They were terrible. They didn't have a singer. And then when Dunn first moved to Pennsylvania, and he was like, yeah, I'll sing. And they're like, well, are you a singer? He's like, no, I don't fucking know how to sing. I want to hang out. And so they competed in their Battle of the Bands in high school and came in fucking dead last by like a landslide. And there was one video in that Ryan Dunn tribute thing. There was a video of them playing, and it's so bad. It's so fucking bad, but it's so funny. It's so endearing.
See, I didn't watch that. I didn't end up watching that Ryan Dunn tribute, but I'm sure it was hilarious and sad.
Oh, dude, it was so funny. It was sad at the very end, but I also never realized how grimy Ryan Dunn was. Like the dude like never showered. Like they would do like skits. They would do skits where he would like be like covered in shit or whatever. Remember the one where he was scuba diving in like the waste treatment plant?
Yeah.
Yeah. All he did was get out of there and then like get hosed off, and then they went out drinking the same night. And so when they went out drinking the same night, he stunk like shit. In the entire bar, he stunk like shit. He like fucking never showered.
Do you remember that when after he does that, and then they go back to Bam's parents' house, and then
she makes him sit outside.
And then they throw the football at him, and it hits the table right at the right spot, and everything explodes and goes everywhere. Oh, it's so fucking funny. Oh, dude, another thing that made me laugh so hard when I was watching CKY was the part where they were filming that guy on the airplane picking his nose, And then it's it's Phil's reaction of watching that video.
He's so
And
disgusted.
He's so disgusted, but he cannot stop laughing at the guy picking his nose.
It's such a dick thing to do too. Like, dude, they just like bother this fucking. They secretly film this guy on the airplane doing something kind of objectionably gross.
Yeah.
But like, come on, man, like it's fucked up. Leave him alone. And then Bam's like, dude, you've been picking your nose for like an hour.
God, that fucking Bam's accent is so annoying sometimes, and it gets more exaggerated as the years go on. Oh shit! My God, dude.
Good stuffs.
Oh, and I was texting you earlier, a couple days ago. I'd watched CKY4, and CKY4 really is like maybe I mentioned it. CKY4 is just like the B-sides of CKY3, so it's the unused shit. Really, it seems like.
Except for the barrel off the roof thing, like that's
oh my God,
the highlight.
So fucking funny. The pussy.
Oh God.
The pussy part, and then when Ryan Dunn hits the ground and he makes that grunt.
Dude, it looks like he dies.
And then
like,
Bam plays that grunt like repeatedly. It's so fucking funny. But then also at the end when Don Vito takes 50 shots of peach schnapps.
Yeah.
And he fucking takes him down like a champ. He's like, give me a glass, I'll do 5 at a time. He just like chugs them. And then at the end, he's just like standing there barfing, talking. He's a disgusting human. He was a disgusting human being. Funny at times, but fucking disgusting.
Man, Don Vito was just like a podcast in himself.
Oh my God. Yeah, he did questionable. He did bad things toward the end, but prior to that.
But even like that was like tragic. Like watching him take those
like
shots. And the whole time you're seeing like girls, a third of his age sitting on his lap, like woo girls, right? Wooing the whole time.
Woo girls.
And it's like, woo girls. Oh, you know
That's
what? How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
But yeah, they woo girls. Woo. But yeah, watching those girls like sitting in his lap and like doing that, it's like, dude, man, like you're worth more than this, bro. Like, this is not your life. I
did like though how he was wearing the glasses with the Elvis.
I bought those glasses because of Don Vito, dude. Back when it was like during high school, it was a YMCA thing. It was youth in government. I bought those Elvis glasses because I saw fucking like CKY and Don Vito wearing them.
Do you remember I had that Don Vito poster in my room for years?
Yeah. Does Tammy still have the fucking background of Don Vito on her phone?
Yes, she does until this day. Yeah.
God.
So anybody who doesn't know, back in the day, I don't know, Hot Topic used to sell this poster where it was a black and white grainy picture of Don Vito, and it said Don Vito, but it was like stylized like The Godfather. And it's just so stupid and it's so ugly. And I got it when I was in high school, and it was up on my wall for years, like into my adulthood. I was a grown ass adult. And even when I met Tammy, girlfriend of the pod, when we first met, she came into my room and she's like, what is that? She had no idea who Don Vito was, no idea what CKY was. She knew Jackass, but no idea what CKY was. So then I had showed her CKY, and I had showed her, at that time, Viva La Bam was going on. So her and I got obsessed with Viva La Bam. And we both Don Vito was so funny on that show. I mean, obviously some of it is scripted, but it's still fucking hilarious. So then as a joke, I took her phone. This is like in 2007, probably. So she had this old fucking shitty ass phone. And I took a picture of my poster and I put it as her background on her phone. And I swear to you, Jeff will attest to this, since 2007, the background on her phone has not changed. It is a picture of Don Vito.
It's truly
from
incredible.
That poster. And every time she's gotten a new phone, she puts that on there. Like, she's like, I'm like, oh, you got to put that as your background. And she's like, okay. And then she'll like Google it, Don Vito on Google, and then download it, put it as her wallpaper, and it's still there. It's since 2007.
It's fucking bizarre, incredible. I don't know.
I have a weird ass girlfriend. She's fucking weird.
But also, that's not even the weirdest part. The weirdest fucking part is she stood by that BlackBerry for fucking longer than the company BlackBerry even stood by their own fucking product. That was the weirdest part.
She had her BlackBerry for like 5 years. BlackBerry was like going under, and she still had it.
Nobody likes the BlackBerry.
Nobody. She loved it. And then she's such a clean freak, like a germaphobe, that she would take alcohol wipes and wipe down her phone, wipe down that BlackBerry, to the point where the paint was coming off of it. Like it was corrode. The phone was literally corroding because she was wiping it down every day with an alcohol wipe.
And if you don't know what a BlackBerry is, which I hope you don't, because then you can Google it and look at how inconvenient and fucking stupid this phone is.
Prior to iPhones and smartphones, BlackBerries were the coolest thing.
Yeah, for like a minute.
And even to this day, if you talk to Tammy about BlackBerries, she'll say, "Oh, I wish I still had my BlackBerry. I love my BlackBerry." She will say she loves that fucking thing. She would 100% go back to it.
In my fucking life, I've never met anybody as dedicated to the BlackBerry as she was. Respect it, though. Respect it.
She's a fucking weirdo, man. I love her to death, but she's a fucking weirdo.
Respect it.
Oh, man. I'm going to tell her about this conversation, too. I'm going to tell her about the Don Vito and the BlackBerry, and she's going to get so mad at me.
Dude, the fucking BlackBerry is what gets me. The BlackBerry is what gets me. It's like objectively not a good phone.
It was at the time, though. It was cutting edge.
You can get a Sidekick.
But she kept
the Sidekick did the fucking same job.
No. Blackberries were way better than Sidekicks. Sidekicks were only popular. You never even had a Sidekick. What are you talking about?
No, but I didn't have a BlackBerry either, but I know how shitty they were.
I had both of them. The BlackBerry was way better than the Sidekick.
I had the chocolate.
The Sidekick was only popular because of MySpace and because of Scene Kids.
And it looked cool when you hold it like a Game Boy and you flick it.
Exactly. That was the only reason why. And then you fucking walking around with your indestructible phone.
Oh, the Casio.
So who the fuck are you talking about?
What yeah.
You would throw that shit and it wouldn't even open. It wouldn't even get close to breaking. It was indestructible.
I used to put that phone in a bowl of water and then freeze it, and then have somebody call it, and then you could see like the front LED light up, and then I would thaw it out, and then it'd be fine.
I remember you would try to overheat it too. You would put it like in the middle of summer. You would put it on your dashboard in your car,
dude,
and just let it sit there and see if it would overheat. It never did.
So much.
It was indestructible, man. It was wild. Oh, and then remember we did shoot it with a BB gun, right?
Yeah.
But that was after you decided to get rid of it. That actually did break it. The BB gun did break it. Damn, man, we were idiots. Still are, but anyway, back to CKY.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What else do we have on this one?
I don't know. So I do want to talk about the music video that we also talked about, but like Chad filming a music video and then being hung from a tree because it was supposed to be funny, and I think it was Disengaged, the simulator was the music video for it.
Yeah, it was. I think
it was supposed to be just him hanging there and convulsing. It just has a little bit, and the guy they hired to do it was just some fucking schmuck. Some guy probably not as a part of like SAG. Are stunt guys a part of SAG, like the Screen Actors Guild?
No, I don't think they are. No, I think they're part of their own union. But whatever, it's like a safety thing,
right? So like the guy they hired wasn't a part of any union. He was just a guy that was pretty convincing on. He knew what to do, and so he put a real noose around Chad's neck, and then hung him by wires, a thin wire, but a thin enough wire to everyone's like, "Are you sure that's gonna fucking hold? That's a pretty thin wire, dude." And he's like, "Oh yeah, for sure, it'll hold." Well, the wire didn't hold, and they dropped Chad, and he got fucking hung. Like, he hung, he convulsed, he passed out, and everybody thought he was just doing a good job, and he was fucking unconscious for like 20 seconds.
Yeah, he literally was hanging.
That's death. Like 20 seconds, that's death.
Yeah, and you can watch that video. I mean, that shit's on YouTube. Like, it's not even like on like the shitty parts of the internet. That's actually on YouTube. That whole
It's fucking frightening. It is frightening, and after they pull him off, he's clearly like dazed and confused. Even the next day, he's kind of like, I still don't really remember what's happening now. I don't remember what happened yesterday.
Oh, he's probably so traumatized from that.
It's frightening.
Yeah, it's scary. Like, oh, man.
The fucking guy almost died for a mediocre fucking metal song on an album.
Dude, he entrusted this guy with his fucking life. Entrusted this guy with his life. And the guy fucked up. Like, that's fucking scary.
And it's kind of scary because it's still happening today, right? With the whole Baldwin. One of the Baldwin. I don't know which Baldwin was. Alec Baldwin. And the whole gun thing. It's like, yeah, dude, like you kind of do trust these people to hand you something or to do something for you, with you. And you're putting your life or somebody else's life in their hands. If it doesn't work out, then like, are you liable?
Yeah, it's that
So-
Alec Baldwin thing was crazy because like, who do you blame? I mean, besides like that particular stunt coordinator, which I think all the blame is on her. I think it was her, but yeah, I think all the blame is on her.
But then people are like, well, he should have checked the chambers. Like, dude, if you never fucking handled a gun before in your life, like,
Yeah,
I don't know anything about his background or if he goes shooting, if he has guns, but if I handed somebody who's never handled, like Sloan, you know what I mean? Like, if I handed him a gun, like, hey, can you check the chamber to see if it's live, or can you make sure the magazine's unloaded? Like, what the fuck that means?
yeah, I get
It's like
it.
tell me to change like a Johnson rod in a fucking Ford, a 1965 T-Bird. I don't know if that's a Ford or not. I think it's a Pontiac. I don't fucking know.
Is it what is Thunderbird? Is a Thunderbird just its own brand,
I think a Thunderbird's
or
a
is it a
Pontiac.
Pontiac? Oh no, it is. You're right. Pontiac Thunderbird. Yeah, it is.
I think we've proven numerous times on this podcast that we don't know dick
We don't
about
know
cars. like if an apocalypse happened and there was like a car that just needed like one little thing to it to start it so we can escape, like we'd fucking die. We'd be dead.
Oh wait, no, a Thunderbird is not
A T-Bird,
I don't-
right? Isn't T-Bird a
No.
Pontiac?
No, it's a Firebird is a Pontiac.
Oh, what is there a Thunderbird?
Thunderbird car. Let's see.
Does that even not exist?
No, Thunderbirds exist because my grandma used to buy one like every couple of years,
Are you sure it wasn't a Firebird?
and she loved her Thunderbirds. Oh, no, it's a Ford.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a Ford. They discontinued the Thunderbird in 1997. Yeah. Damn, they lasted that long? Holy shit.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know dick about cars. I just know that like I know what I like when I like visibly see a car, and I will say, hey, I like the look of that car, but I don't know anything about
Like an El
how
Camino.
to fix it.
The
Dude,
greatest
El
car
Camino
ever.
would be dope. I think
Love
like
El
a
Camino.
like a 1990 Monte Carlo blacked out. I think that'd be super
Ooh.
dope. I think like a late 60s Camaro. That'd be dope. That's about it.
El Camino, pretty much anything from the 1970s El Camino, because it's half car, half truck, which is amazing.
Dude,
And
you
then,
hang out drinking in the back of an El Camino.
dude. Also, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I think Cadillac Escalades. I fucking love those cars.
Oh.
I love Escalades.
Oh.
Those are such cool fucking cars. I love them.
Dude, they're bulky, they're big, they're not roomy on the inside.
They're still. They look fucking cool as hell, man.
Eh.
A blacked out Escalade.
Get the fuck out of here, P. Diddy, 50 Cent. The fuck
Fucking
outta
limo tint windows, dude. That a black Escalade, man.
here.
That's a cool ass car, man. That and an El Camino. Those are my two cars right there. Do you know what I would love to do is get an El Camino, fill the bed part of it with just ice and just put a bunch of beers in there and just hang out and drink. That'd be fucking cool,
Damn.
right?
That's
That'd
not a
be
bad
sick, right?
idea. What if
Put
we
some
just
speakers
threw,
up and just
what if we just
fucking
like
chill? So
what if we
white
had an
trash.
account where we just threw like $5 in a month, got like 10 of us, $5 in a month. After like 2 or 3 years, we meet
Yeah.
somewhere and rent an El Camino and do that same exact thing. It doesn't cost as much. Ooh, baby boy, what we got going on here? Oh.
There is a guy on my street who has a classic El Camino.
You selling it? Buy it. Take
No,
it. Steal
I
it.
wish, dude. That'd be so cool. They're probably not even that much. They're probably like less than 10 grand. They're not. I'm sure they're not that expensive. They're not like a super sought after car. Classic car, I should say.
They're getting more
Anyway.
and more rare. Yeah, anyway. Come on.
Yeah, we're
Clearly
really going
CKY
off.
doesn't have a lot to talk about. So
I know, but
that's
we
all
kind of
right,
knew
though.
that going into this. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not a ton to talk about. So let's wrap it up then.
Yeah.
Oh, is there something else you want to talk about?
No, I'm peeking through my notes here. See if there's anything I must talk about.
I mean,
Not really.
Yeah, there's nothing really more to talk about. I still even think we talked a fair amount about the actual band and the album itself. It's just there's not a lot there. Really, there isn't.
There's not.
Sorry
It's
to
a-
all the
it's a-
CKY fans though.
It's a niche genre with guys that aren't exceptional at any of their instruments. The band
Right.
itself is not exceptional at being a band. They are unique. I guess this is going to my wrap up.
Yeah,
They are not exceptional at their instruments. They are unique. Their sound is very, very CKY. as you can tell by the guy walking into the record store and immediately recognizing CKY. I don't think this group would be anything without Bam. Essentially, without Bam, I think this group owes a lot, maybe like 80% of their success to Bam.
I would agree.
And that's not to say they're bad. That's not to say they're dumb. I just think that like they're too vanilla at what they do, even though they sound nothing like anything else. I just think that they owe so much to Bam. But I love this album. This album grew on me this week. 96 Quite Bitter Bings. If you took 96 Quite Bitter Bings out of this album, we would never be fucking talking about this. This would never even happen.
You're right.
But because that song exists, god damn, dude, that song. I don't know if it's like nostalgia. I don't know. But that song is a fucking beyond banger, like you said. That song is unbelievable. Everything about it is perfect. So because of all that, because of the lore, because of who these guys were, because I like watching Chad piss all over Gigi Allen's grave, because I like watching Jess get slapped in the face by Jimmy Pop, because I like all of this stuff, yeah. I'll still give this I'll give this a 2.25. I'll give this a 2.25. I would buy this on the vinyls. It's not really available that often, but I would buy it on the vinyls. I would listen to it, but this is strictly a band that's I'm buying because of nostalgia.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good rating. That's not bad at all. At least you didn't give it a perfect 3 out of 3 like you normally do. Well, I don't know about that, dude. It's true. My final thoughts. This band, like you, this band grew on me this week. I didn't think I would ever really listen to this record in its entirety. Because 96 is such a better song. I mean, it's just such a great song. It just blows every other song out of the water on this record. I mean, I don't even know the last time I listened to An Answer Can Be Found, that one, the third record. It's been probably at least 10 years since I last listened to that record. And really, whenever I go back to CKY, it's either 96, Quite Bitter Beans, or it's whatever, if I'm watching CKY or Jackass. You know, that's the only time I'm ever hearing this band. But it was a fun listen through. A lot of, like I said, this is like a lot of background music. It's still good, but it's just not fantastic or great. Nothing really is bad here. I would get this record on vinyl. If it was like $15-20, I'd pick it up. An Answer Can Be Found, I'd pick that up on vinyl as well. But that's as far as I would go. But like you, it's all based on, a lot of it's based on nostalgia. Both the records, Volume 1 and An Answer Can Be Found. It's mostly nostalgia, and I love it, and I agree with you. This band would really be nothing if it weren't for Bam, because Bam is way more important to the culture, to skate culture, especially music culture in a lot of ways, than people give him credit for. Especially in light of everything that's been happening to him since, everything that's been going on with him, I should say, in the last 10 or so years. So with that, I'm going to give this record a 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. I would go back to it again. So yeah, we didn't explain this, but 3 is a perfect album. 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to. 1 is a bad album, but give it a shot. And 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So with that being said, I'm giving this a 2 out of 3.
We could do a pod on just Bam. Like Bam's influence on skate culture rivals that of like
Tony Hawk.
You know, like Dogtown and Z-Boys.
Yeah,
Tony Hawk.
No, totally. Like you said earlier, he's not the greatest skater, but what he did for the scene was so important. So goddamn important. And I don't think he's given nearly enough credit for that.
I mean, like, if it wasn't for like Bam and CKY, I never would have started skating at all, ever. I never fucking would have bought a skateboard. I was never good at it. I'm still not good at it, but like I never would have even fucking done it. I would have never gone to a skate park.
And a lot of kids would say the same thing. It was because of Bam. It wasn't because of Tony Hawk. It's because of Bam. Because what Bam did was he humanized the sport. You know, I mean, maybe that's not even the right word. He humanized and popularized it because he showed that it could just be like you and your friends fucking around. Yeah. It's not like these big vert skaters like Tony Hawk. You know, he was a vert skater. He wasn't like a street skater like Bam was. You know, and then Bam throwing in the stuff with his buddies and
watching like CKY, kind of like Dika was a terrible skater. Fucking
he didn't know how to skate.
Like a handful of times, and
Do you
every
remember
single
when
time ate shit.
Do you remember when it doesn't age well now, but it was right after 9/11, and he dressed up in like in Middle Eastern garb. I don't know exactly what kind of clothing he was wearing, but then he put on the accent, and then he had the sign that said Afghanistan, and then he dropped in on that vert, and he just completely ate shit.
Instantly.
Completely face planted. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. It was great. It was so funny.
It was like if that guy can fucking do it, like why can't I?
Good stuff.
Good stuffs.
That's all I have on this one. You got anything else to add, to say?
That's it. That's all.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. 5 stars only. Tell all your friends. And that's it. That's all. Brandon Moore.